In a remote village on the edge of a dense forest, there lived an old man named HORO. No one knew where he came from, but he had lived in the village for years, alone in a rickety hut on the edge of the village. His face was always covered with a shabby cloth, only showing his sharp, mysterious eyes. The villagers avoided him because of the many stories circulating about him. Some said he was a powerful shaman. Others believed he was a supernatural being disguised as a human. However, no one dared to approach him to find out the truth. One night, a young man named Rocker was curious and decided to visit HORO's hut. Driven by great curiosity, he carried a lantern and walked through the thin fog that enveloped the village. When he arrived in front of the hut, he felt a bone-chilling cold. With trembling hands, he knocked on the door. The door opened slowly, and behind it stood HORO with his eyes piercing the darkness of the night. "What are you looking for, young man?" he asked in a hoarse voice. Rocker swallowed, but dared to ask, "I want to know who you really are." HORO took a deep breath and said, "Then, you should prepare to hear something you might regret." He then invited Rocker inside. Inside the hut, there was only an old wooden table and a few candles that flickered dimly. HORO began to tell his story. "I used to be one of the residents of this village. I had a family, a wife, and a daughter. However, one disastrous night, a curse befell my family. A traveler I helped turned out to be an evil witch. She felt betrayed by the villagers and cast a terrible curse on me. My wife and daughter disappeared without a trace, while I was cursed to live forever, but shunned by humans. Since then, I have remained here, hoping that one day my curse will end." Rocker's eyes widened when he heard the story. He wanted to ask more, but suddenly a strong wind blew, extinguishing all the candles in the room. In the darkness, Rocker felt that something had changed. When the lantern light returned to the room, HORO was no longer there. All that was left was the shabby cloth that usually covered his face. Since that night, Rocker became the only person in the village who knew the truth about HORO. However, every time he tried to tell others, they only considered it a bad dream. Meanwhile, the old hut on the edge of the village remained standing, silent and cold, as if waiting for someone who dared to seek the next truth.